Okay. Alright, so you have the preterite. The preterite is considered the past tense in Spanish. So we already know the present tense. We already know the present tense. For example, if we wanted to conjugate the verb hablar, we would go habló, hablas, habla, hablamos, and hablan. But since we want to do the past tense, AR verbs turn into something different. They turn into the conjugation of AR verbs. So a conjugation of an AR verb is hablé, accento, hablaste, habló. So notice how the yo form in habló is different from the L form just by that accent. In the past tense, remember, so in the past tense we say I spoke or I walked. Instead of saying I walk, you say I walked. You add the ed to show that you're doing the past tense. The nice thing about the nosotros form in the AR verbs is that it's the exact same thing. And then we have hablaron. Okay, so the nosotros in the nosotros in the present tense is the exact same thing as the nosotros in the preterite. Okay, so hopefully you figured out that by looking at your book. There are some irregular verbs. The irregular verb dar is conjugated very similar to there. Remember, dar means to give, but in so many different contexts, dar can mean to throw a party, to go for a walk, to go for a hike. So really dar can have a lot of contexts. Ver means to see. So in the vocab, hopefully you looked at the vocab and it says ver atracciones. So if you wanted to conjugate the verb ver in the past tense, you'd have to say vi, viste, vio, vimos, and vieron. Alright, so that's how you conjugate irregular verbs. Okay, so the chapter is going to focus on AR verbs, and then they're going to give you a ton of AR verbs like pescar and acampar and visitar, visitar un museo, acampar. So those ones you just conjugated like this. Remembering your subjects. Remember your subjects are yo, tú, él, ella, and usted. Nosotros, nosotras, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Alright, and you have to also remember, people that forgot this a lot, if you have the name Juan y Ana, that's obviously a they, so you have to treat it like an ellos. Okay, and if you have like Juan y yo, that's obviously a we, and you have to treat it like a nosotros. So this is Spanish 1 stuff, but it's stuff that people forgot about. The new one that's out is tu y tu familia. You want to treat that like an ustedes, because if you think about it, you and your family is a you guys, so you're going to treat that like an ustedes. It's an us. Sorry. Alright, so remembering that, subjects need to be replaced by pronouns in order to get the right conjugation. But again, you should know that from Spanish 1. Okay, so we just did AR verbs, and hopefully you just get comfortable saying, instead of going asa, amos, an, get comfortable saying aste, o, amos, aron. Like I said, get comfortable with it. Then irregular verbs, like we have had irregular verbs, like ser is an irregular verb. We know that. Ser is soy, eres, es, somos, son. Okay, we know that's irregular. We know that ir is irregular. It's voy, vas, va, vamos, van. So we know that that's irregular. So just like that's irregular, so is we have irregular verbs. So we know ver and dar are irregular. We also know that hacer is irregular. Hacer acts really weird. There's actually no A's when it comes to the preterite, so it's hice, hiciste, hizo with a Z, so that's just extremely irregular. And then, what's the next one? Hicimos. And then the last one is hicieron. Okay, so like I said before, we have to make sure that, look, there's no A's. The I's are crazy in these past tense. Alright, so you have to make sure you have the spelling correct. But if you know your subjects, then you should be fine because you're just conjugating it exactly like you would. You just have to teach yourself and get comfortable with the preterite, the past tense. Alright, there's another irregular verb that you have to learn for this chapter. Ir and ser act exactly the same. I know it's kind of crazy to believe that ir means to go, right? And ser means to be. But they get conjugated exactly the same. Let me quick back to dar. The reason I put dar and ver next to each other is because they act almost the same, just like this letter and this letter are different. So it's di, diste, dio, demos, and dieron. So they're like almost like twins if you see how close they are. That's why we like putting them together, because they're literally a letter off. Okay, but ir and ser are, these are like twins as in like they look exactly the same. These are like, they're like brothers that look very close to each other. So the way you conjugate ir is fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron. And so if you want to say, for example, like I went to the store, you would say yo fui a la tienda. If you want to say, for example, I was a Linden high school student, then you say fui un estudiante de Linden. It's the exact same verb that you use in the past tense, and just you have to know by context, like what are you trying to say? Obviously, like I went